Hi, I'm Willie and welcome back to my channel. So we are over that 9600 mark. I will be releasing the rules hopefully Thursday. Things have just been absolutely crazy, so thank you to everyone. So tonight is going to be a little bit of Ubiquiti Q&A, and this is really the first Q&A video that I've done. So let's see how this goes. What I've got is I went through my comments, and I have 10, I selected 10 questions, and we're going to ask the questions. I'll tell you who they're from, and then I'll try my best to explain. And as always, if I'm wrong or something needs to be updated or whatever, you can always put that down there in the comments. So our first question comes from Z Venetix, and I hope that's right. And this subscriber writes, does DNS filtering slow down ping for video games? So DNS filtering is not an appliance that sits in line. It's usually a cloud-based service. And the first time your client hits it, there's some name resolution. And either the site's going to be blocked or it's not. So, I haven't noticed, that it slows down gaming. It should not cause a higher ping for gaming. I mean, once your machine has resolved that, a lot, and I'm sure that your machine's not the only one who has resolved it. As long as it's not blocked, it shouldn't be causing an issue. So, question number 2 is from Omar, and this is from a USG video. We were talking about DPI, and Omar asked, can I see which websites my clients are browsing? And the answer is yes and no. So DPI is getting better and better all the time, but it can't see everything. Now, if a website's not using SSL, you're going to be able to see it. And they can detect some applications or websites that are using SSL. So it's kind of a mixed bag at this point. If you need that insight, so you either need to be collecting log files off of the DNS server, or you need some sort of other appliance that sits in line is able to intercept all of that traffic reliably. Question number 3, Steve says, how can I configure 2 APs to use the same SSID in Unify? Should I use zero handoff? Can APs use the same channel? Okay. By default, when we've looked at the WLAN groups in Unify. So if you don't go in and make, if you don't go in and make special groups and leave nothing in the default, by default, in that default group, how it works with Unify is that every access point by default that you adopt into that site is going to take those SSIDs. So you're not manually configuring. That's the beautiful part about an enterprise-based system like this. And you adopt the access point in, and the SSIDs come up, and by default everything is on auto, so that's power and channel. And you do not want access points on the same channel, because then you're going to have interference. With 2.4 gigahertz, there are 3 non-overlapping channels. With 5 gigahertz, there are many more than that. And so you want to make sure you're using non-overlapping channels when you do your design. There's a lot more to it than that. That's kind of a rule of thumb. Don't use overlapping channels. Don't let the controller do auto anything at this point. Always make sure you have appropriate power levels. And then let's address zero handoff. Zero handoff, I don't use it, and I don't recommend it. I recommend you right-sizing your cells and your output power and all these things so that clients can seamlessly roam through your access points. And depending on the application, the user is probably never going to know that they've switched access points. So I hope that answers your question, Steve. Number 4 comes from another Steve. This is Steve C. And Steve C says, when the power goes out on my CloudKey, sometimes it's like it's been factory defaulted. Why does this happen? So the database that is being used for Unify inside your CloudKey is MongoDB, and that's actually what, whether it's Windows or Mac or Linux, or it's a CloudKey or it's cloud hosted or whatever, MongoDB is the database server that is running that. And if you just cut the power, to MongoDB, sometimes it corrupts the database. So you are likely seeing some sort of database corruption if you're not able to start that. And I had that, and if you go back and you look at some of my videos, I had a power outage here. CloudKey went sideways on me, and I had to restore from a backup. So, okay. Number 5, Jungle Boy from MOZ says, DPI on Unify looks good. Do I have need for an edge router? It depends what you want to do with your network. So if you can operate your network comfortably and meet all your requirements with what a USG and Unify can do for you, then no, you don't need an edge router. But if you need things that are more, that are higher end, that are more server, I shouldn't even say that. But if you need things that require a little more configuration than what Unify can provide, yes, you will need an edge router or some other device. So, but if Unify is meeting your needs, then why look anywhere else? You got that single pane of glass, and you know it should work out for you. Number 6, Mr. Terry says, do you need a CloudKey for Unify? The answer to that is no. You do not need a CloudKey. Unify can run on Windows. It can run on Debian or Ubuntu Linux. It can run on Mac OS. It can run on Raspberry Pi 2 and 3, which you're probably running some sort of flavor of Debian or Ubuntu on there. It can run out on DigitalOcean. It can run on AWS. I think even saw somebody was using Google Compute and had it running. So it's very versatile. Anywhere you can stick any of the 3 major operating systems, you can run Unify. It does not have to be contained to a CloudKey. Number 7, Hollywood asks, can you sort sites in Stripe? And I don't know that you can do it natively, and I've not tried this, but I'm just thinking about how all these things kind of work. And it's probably, when it comes through as a purchase, it's probably coming through as whatever the purchase name is, so or the item name. So I'm imagining if you set your packages up differently, you could sort it that way. I don't know. I have not done this in the wild. So if anybody has any experience with that, if you've got multiple sites that are hooked to your Stripe account, how do you keep those straight? That's something I need your help on, because that's something that I haven't done. So if you're one of those people who've done that, please help us out down there in the comments. Somebody asked if I'm going to make videos, and several people asked, this is why I'm addressing this, of the Meraki gear. And I am still talking back and forth with the Cisco vendor about that Meraki gear. And if I get it, yes, there will be Meraki videos. So they found out that I'm consulting and doing videos and stuff like that, and now they're starting to change their tune about wanting me to possibly have this equipment. So we'll see how it turns out. Number 9, Ron asked, will Unify work with a NanoStation Loco M2? And you cannot flash the Unify firmware onto that device, but if you have the Pico, I don't know if you've ever seen the Pico. It's the, I don't have one here, but if anybody's got one they want to send me, I sure would take it and add it to the lab. But it's that single antenna. It's about the size of the standard mesh. But it's traditionally an AirMax radio, but they do have a version of the firmware that you can flash to that and control that device in Unify. And I actually have one of those deployed out in the field that is flashed that way, and it works pretty well. And number 10, Dyshuk, I think that's Dyshuk, asks if I can do a video on IoT for Unify. So I just want to talk about that for a minute. So we did the edge router IoT video. If you go into Unify and you create a network, and here's the really nice thing about the USG, is it's got all the guest capabilities built into it, right? So if you go into that and you create a network that is a guest network, now this is on the wire, and give it a VLAN, and then go ahead and provision that firewalling, all those crazy firewall rules are set up for you. So and then you can take it a step further, attribute an SSID to that VLAN, and then also mark that as guest. So you've got the access point doing firewalling, and then you've got the guest network on the wire. So it would be pretty darn secure. So I will do a video on that, but I wanted to touch on that real quick because Diashock is not the only person who has asked that question. So if you've got those burning questions, put them down there. I will start doing these Q&As more often, and definitely thinking about other types of videos to do, and some of these other beginner series. I have a whole list of things, and I'm going to check this Ubiquiti QA video off the list. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. If you want to be notified when I release a video, click that little bell that's floating around down there somewhere. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Please use my affiliate links that are down below. That helps kick a couple bucks into the channel and keep that gear, rolling in. And I hope I answered some of the questions for you, and we'll see you in the next video.